So first of all, as I said, it's a great honor having you on our show.
Thank you.
It's like beginning. It's one of the first episodes, and we're starting with the right foot.
Right on. Thank you
great.
very much. Nice.
So
So Tony, we want to just briefly talk a little bit about the Z-Boys and how was the birth of the Zephyr team?
We came from a surfing team that was a competition team called the Zephyr competition team, and it was mostly guys that were older than the guys that I started the skateboarding team with. It was Jeff Ho and Skip Engblom were the guys that ran the surf shop, and we wanted to surf for their team. So another way to get on the team was that we started skateboarding after we were surfing, cross training for surfing, and they noticed that we were pretty good skateboarders, and there was an opportunity to not only put together a team that surfed and skated, but eventually started traveling outside of our area, which was the west side of Los Angeles, in Santa Monica and Venice area, to different competitions that were in Southern California. We started out that way as a competition team on the road, skateboarding.
So surfing was a big thing for you in your town, and how did the surfing influence your skateboarding?
Well, first and foremost, I think we all were surfers and wanted to be professional surfers, and so the way that we kind of got into skateboarding was that we were always trying to do the moves that we did on the waves on the street skateboarding, and then eventually we started skating better and bigger stuff, like going to the schoolyards. Then a couple of years into it, the urethane wheels instead of clay wheels and loose ball bearings, we had precision bearings with urethane wheels. And then it really got, like almost like four-wheel drive. We could really go and skate things that before were very difficult. And then from there, the boards started to get a little bit better. The wheels got bigger, so we were going faster. And eventually we started making our own boards. We were making the Zephyr boards, and Jay and I were skating in the juniors. Well, Jay was in the boys division, I was in juniors division, Stacy Peralta was in juniors division. We didn't really have any men in the men's division yet. We were all the younger divisions, but we started pretty much winning every contest that we entered.
And how old were you at this time?
14, 15, 16 years old. Yeah.
Cool.
Fresh out of junior high and then into high school. And up until I graduated high school, I pretty much rode for Zephyr, and then I rode for Logan Erskine. And then when I was 19 years old, I started my own company, my own business.
Alva.
Yeah, I started Alva in 1977. I graduated high school in 1975.
Yeah.
So it
You
was in the mid-70s.
You told us about Jeff Ho and Greg Stasik and Skip. And how did these guys participate in this skateboard revolution?
Well, Jeff was an amazing surfboard shaper. Skip was the manager of the store, but he's also kind of like the big brother to us, that kept us in line and managed us. And Stasik was the guy that documented everything. He wrote the articles for the magazines, and he also took, I'd say, 99% of the photographs that were documenting the whole scene. There was another photographer at the time, Glenn Friedman, that was getting some other photos and using them for different periodicals other than Skateboarder Magazine. But it all pretty much started with Skateboarder Magazine, and the articles that Stasik did were focused around the area that we grew up in, which eventually was also known as Dogtown.
Cool. And Skip said that on your first competition, that as the Z-Boys showed up, it was like a hockey team entering a figure skating contest. How was this first contact? What did people think? Do you think you made a good first impression?
No, not really. They thought we were a bunch of punk kids, just a bunch of scumbags, from LA and stuff. We were pretty rough. Our uniforms were just Vans tennis shoes, Levi's or Eddie jeans we could get a hold of, or corduroy, Cords jeans and a t-shirt, just a Zephyr shirt. And we all had long hair, and we were kind of dirty and talked really aggressively. We used a lot of four-letter words. It was just basically we were outcasts from the beginning, but it was kind of like breaking in and breaking out. We broke in, and then we'd have to break out too. It wasn't like we were welcome. But the bottom line is we pretty much changed everything with the style of skateboarding that we introduced, and that we just didn't really conform to any of the standards or the rules. There was no principles for us. Our only rule was to go out and skate 100% aggressively and as proficiently as we could. That was the only rule.
And people wasn't used to your skate style in the competition, so the judges didn't
Well,
even...
it's funny though, because we went down south where it's all surfers and it's all guys that basically are supposed to be like surfers that are skateboarding, but they didn't skate like they surfed. We really skated like we surfed. Like exactly how we surfed was exactly what we were going to do on the skateboards. We'd go out and do the same turns, staying low to the ground, going really fast. The way we held our upper body with the lower body was all based around like a style like Larry Bertelman or, you know, Terry Fitzgerald, Jerry Lopez, Barry Kanayapuni, like all of these surfers that we looked up to was what we were emulating on wheels in front of the judges. And
Doing
they
birds.
knew what we were doing, but they didn't know how to judge it.
Yeah, and you guys are training a lot. You were skating every day, trying to do new stuff. And then you went to this competition. Were you guys, you were outcasts, but did you have the feeling of, yeah, we are going there and we are going to do something that nobody ever saw? Did you have like this enthusiasm of going there and showing new stuff, like you guys in the crew, you had this feeling of knowing that you guys are going to show something really new?
Or
you
just go
just
to the
didn't
fun?
care?
No,
you just
not
went
really.
out
We
for it?
just did it spontaneous. It was never really planned out or thought. And as far as training, we just lived it. You know, we don't really train. We just skate, you know, and we surf every day. And like the bottom line is that the moment that came when we knew something was different and it was going to change was when Jay went out there and was the first guy to skate.
Yeah, he was
Then we
there.
were like, looking at each other going like, you know, it's like we started going like, we're gonna kick these guys' asses like, straight up.
Jay
We
was
were
doing
like, this
tricks
is it.
he never even did before.
Well, we knew, we saw Jay and we just go, he just killed him. You know, we were like, how are they gonna compete with that? We were like,
Yeah.
he just completely annihilated the competition. You know?
And the chicks.
And so we just got really excited. The girls come later. But I hate to say it, I love the girls in Brazil too, but the surfing and the skating comes first, the girls come later.
Oh yeah, maybe sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Depends if you're married or not. Better put her in front if you're married, if you want to stay married.
Cool.
It's like you said, you were 19, you were starting your own company, you was the skateboarder of the year, just won your first world title, and I think you said that sometime in this area of time that I want to travel the world now and I want to get laid every night.
Yeah.
Did you manage to do it, man?
Got close to it, but there was a lot of mismanagement as well. I mean, you know, when I was a young man, I made a lot of mistakes, but I also did a lot of good things too. You mentioned some of the good things. I've found like later in life that one of the most important things with me is to share my experience with the youth, you know, give back a little bit. It's not so much about me like it used to be when I was younger, and I try to be of service and share my experience, strength, and hope with the kids nowadays, and that's a really important thing in my life because what it does for me is it gives me another day, you know, another day where just the grace of God gives me the ability to go out and to surf and skate again for another day, or to play music, or to do whatever I do, because all the things that I do are just gifts, you know. They're not, I don't really own it, you know. It's just the fact that I had a natural ability to skateboard really good. I've been a surfer since I was 10 years old. I've surfed for 42 years. I travel around the world surfing. I play in a band. I play bass. I don't even know how I learned how to play bass. It's just like I just learned, you know. And then I DJ. I do like a lot of things, you know, that are outside of the whole skateboarding lifestyle. But the gift that came to me was that from just trying to do something new and different and knowing that anything is possible. And that's my attitude. It was connected to ego, but as I've gotten older, it's more connected to spirituality and to like really believing in a power greater than myself.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
And today it's common to meet or to become a professional skater, but back then you were the first. What went through your mind? Like, dude, I'm traveling the world. I'm making money riding my skateboard, and a lot of money, and a little bit unreal, right? What came through your mind?
Well, I was a men's overall world professional skateboard champion. That was the biggest title that you could have. I won the skateboarder pole a couple of years, and then I started my own company with Alva, you know. And so, yeah, I mean, my ego was just like, you know, I was a huge, like, Muhammad Ali kind of ego, you know, like float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I was out there to, like, basically fight the whole world,
You
you know.
even said it in a...
Yeah, it's kind of gnarly, you know, that when you put yourself in that position, you're ready kind of to fight everybody instead of go with the flow. You know, there were certain times when I learned to kind of go with the flow, and it was in being spontaneous. I learned to be very spontaneous. But, you know, like I said before, I made a lot of mistakes as well as doing a lot of good things. And as I got older, I started to learn from some of those mistakes, and the experience got better. But, you know, living like that rock star lifestyle is pretty rough sometimes.